Drive to right, well socked, that ball is going, that ball is gone. It's a brand new ball game, a 2-run home run for George Valera.
In the air to right field, hit pretty high, hit pretty deep, that ball is gone! Ryan Lavacina with a walk-off home run!
Naylor lines it to right, that wins the championship for the Rubber Ducks! Bo Naylor, the walk-off hit, and Akron takes it home in 2021. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Future Guardians of the Land podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Sleds, and another special guest with me tonight. I have Cleveland Guardians pitching prospect Josh Wolf. How you doing tonight, Josh?
Great. Thank you for having me.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Hope you had a nice holiday. Did you do anything special?
No, I was just with my family, which I guess that's the most important thing. So I was able to spend time with them. And I'm in Phoenix now, so and they're in Houston. So that was nice to be able to go back home.
Yeah, definitely. So how's the off-season going so far?
It's been great. Like I said, I'm in Phoenix, which is a little change. I was in Houston the past two off seasons, and then this one I just decided kind of switch it up a little bit. I went back to my high school trainer who trained me for about 4 years all through high school, and got me, in my opinion, like my best physical physical performance and all that stuff. He moved to Phoenix right after the draft, and I haven't been able to have an off season with him. So I figured it would just be the best thing for me just to go to Phoenix and train with him. And then I also started here with Driveline, and I've been doing my throwing with them just to clean up some mechanical adjustments, and then hopefully get the goals that I was trying to accomplish last year that I couldn't, like to be able to do that for this year, because there were some major things that I wanted to accomplish, and I'm on track to do that this year, which is exciting.
All right, there you go. So you mentioned high school. You went to St. Thomas High School in Houston. I mentioned before the show, I was trying to find your stats online, but you have them all memorized, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah. I think the only reason I remember is because at the draft, or on the TV for the draft, they popped them up, and that was the first time I ever seen the stats. I remember that moment really well, so I still remember that part of the TV and popping that up. So yeah, so I still have it right for the most part. I think I'm a few numbers off, but for the most part, yeah.
Gotcha. So you obviously had a great high school career. I actually pitched a 6-inning no-hitter in the 2019 state playoffs, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was that was a good game. It was pretty cool. I actually had my whole school there. It was like an all-school game because we were playing at, I think, 2:00. So we had and I went to an all-boy Catholic school.
Okay.
So it got pretty rowdy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you were also named 2019 High School Athlete of the Year by the Jewish Sports Heritage Association. So nice little honor there for you.
Thank you. Yeah. That was really important to me because I am Jewish, and I'd like to be a role model to Jewish athletes. And there's not a ton of professional baseball players that are Jewish. So to be able to pave the way in a sense, and just be again like a role model for them is really important to me. So that award meant a lot to me and my family especially.
That's awesome. So during your high school career, not only did you play high school ball, but you also played in something called the Perfect Game Baseball Association. They do like a lot of high scale tournaments and showcase events. How did that help you in your development? I'm assuming it was pretty high level talent. How'd that help you in your development wise playing in that?
So Perfect Game had like tournaments you could join, and they also had their showcases. I played in a few tournaments with my select team that I was with, and you'll face the best of the best. And then on top of that, if you do well, you get invited to their showcases. So I did well in these tournaments, so I got invited to their big showcases. So I went to Perfect Game National Showcase, which is their biggest showcase of the year for the upcoming draft guys. And I was able to face some of the better competition that I had faced in high school, and really see how my stuff stacked up against them, which was really helpful going into that draft year.
That's cool. So one thing a lot of people probably don't know is you actually committed to Texas A&M verbally in 2017. So ultimately, what made you decide to end up going pro rather than playing college ball at A&M?
I did not realize it was that long ago. Yeah, so that recruiting process was pretty funny. Just the whole, usually for most players, they get multiple offers or they get offers before that. And for me, I got that offer junior year, 2 weeks into my junior year of high school, which is pretty late for most guys, especially in these bigger schools. They usually give out their offers much earlier for these
Right.
guys. So yeah, so I kind of had a slow recruiting process with everyone. I played my first real summer circuit that year going into my junior year of high school, and my velocity kept increasing tournament by tournament until the last tournament. I went from 87 the first tournament to 93 in the last, and that was for a whole summer. So once I started getting in the low 90s, that's when teams started getting more interested. But the one team that had been interested for a while had been actually Texas A&M. They were on me from when I was touching 89 in the middle of the summer, and they liked me and they kept tabs, and I went to their camp, and I was contacting with them, and they came to see me a few times, and I was very excited because I live close to Texas A&M, and a lot of my high school buddies were planning on going there. So I was like, this is perfect if I can make this happen. And then, yeah, the last tournament I had was the best one I had, and they offered me the next day. Or sorry, they invited me to a visit the next day, and I went on my visit. Loved the school, the facilities, everything. My parents loved it, and then I actually committed the same day.
Oh,
So
nice.
I had one offer from Texas A&M, and I was done.
So obviously you ended up getting drafted by the Mets in the second round, 53rd overall in 2019. Highest drafted player out of your high school.
Yeah,
I did see that.
my high school's been there for over 100 years, and they've had a really rich baseball history. I think we've won around 26 or 27 state championships.
Oh, wow.
Craig Biggio coached there for a while, so his sons went there. So to be the highest drafted player out of that high school is a pretty big honor for me.
Yeah, that's definitely awesome. So let's go through the whole draft process. How did that go, the draft process and talking with teams?
Yeah, so at first I didn't really hear a ton of chatter just because I wasn't considered a draft prospect. I was just kind of someone who they'd keep eyes on, but they didn't really think I'd get drafted high enough to go pro. They thought a lot of scouts just figured I'd go to school. So I didn't really hear from many teams. I'd give home visits. I had probably 8 teams come visit, which is not that many. And then after my first scrimmage, I hit 97. And I think a lot of teams that kind of opened their eyes. And at that point, they wanted to see, okay, can I control the 97, which I was able to do that. I walked 11 guys the whole season, which is pretty good in
Right.
70 innings, not very many innings I had. But yeah, so I went from having the 8, 9, whatever visits to almost all the teams came to visit my house and talk to me. So I had a lot of interest throughout the season. And then come draft day, I had a list of teams. My agent gave me a list of teams who were interested. I'd say around the comp round, it was when right after the first round ended, I had gotten a few, my agent told me about a few calls he'd received for offers. And then ultimately we just, the Mets offer was my best offer, and then the rest is history.
So how about draft night? What were you doing? How'd you
Yeah,
how'd you-
I had a little party with my family and friends. There's probably 30 of us at my house. Yeah, the draft started early, probably like 6, 7 o'clock, and then I got drafted like at 11:30. So some people end up leaving because it was late. I'm sure the people with me were hoping I'd get drafted, or else I'd have been a rough night. But yeah, ultimately it worked out, which I'm glad.
everybody go crazy?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty cool. We actually couldn't figure out how to get the draft on the TV. So
Oh, really?
my buddy, who I played t-ball with, like I played all my baseball with him. He he got on his phone and we airplayed it to the TV. So we did
Oh,
that. So
nice.
that was pretty fun, yeah. So he had to hold the phone and make sure everything was good while everyone was crazy. But
That's
yeah,
fun.
that was a cool experience.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. So you made your debut in the rookie league with the Mets in 2019. You pitched in 5 games. What was the biggest transition going from high school ball to rookie league pro ball?
At first, that rookie league, it was more just a schedule. Obviously, I hadn't had a professional schedule before, so just getting on a schedule where your days based on baseball was kind of new to me. Strictly baseball, no school, no nothing. Yeah, I had that. Competition wise, it wasn't really that crazy of a difference. The guys in that league hit a fastball, and that was what I noticed. That if you make a mistake, they'll probably hit your fastball. But yeah, it really wasn't that much of a big difference going from the high school to that first level, at least.
Okay. So you get your first 5 games in your first year, and then 2020 comes and the COVID-19 pandemic hits, wipes out the minor league season. How tough was that, and what did you do to kind of keep in shape?
Yeah, that was a weird, obviously, year for everybody. But for me, a lot of shocks because I go into that year excited for my first full season. Boom, we get sent home. Um, I just threw and worked out on my own to kind of keep in shape. I got a call about like an instructional camp to go to where I threw probably 12, 15 innings with the Mets. Um, go home, then January hits, and I got a call from the GM at the time from the Mets, and he told me I got traded to Cleveland. So just a wild off.
So you mentioned that trade in January 2021. You were traded to Cleveland in the Francisco Lindor deal, along with Andres Melendez, Ahmed Rosario, and Isaiah Green. I guess you just said how you found out about the trade. What was your initial reaction?
Yeah, I was definitely shocked just because I didn't think anything was going to happen since we didn't have a season. The last thing I'm thinking, I haven't pitched with this organization a full season yet. And I figured they'd let me at least go one season with them. I guess Isaiah Green can say the same thing. He didn't even get a single professional game.
Right.
But yeah, so I was just a little shocked. But quickly I kind of realized it's business, and then it's also good for my career because to be in a big trade, clearly the team who traded for you wants you and sees a lot from you, and they believe you can succeed. So that was one of the takeaways, the biggest takeaways that I took from the trade.
So did you know? Were you and Isaiah teammates in the rookie league?
So he got drafted the year after me. So
that's right. My bad.
The only time I interacted with him was that instructional league. I think I faced him once and I walked him. But yeah, so that was the only time we interacted really. And then we get this trade and we became actually a lot closer from the trade.
That's good. So did you know much about the Cleveland organization?
Yeah, I did. I had a few buddies, Nick Mikolajczak, and then Kyle Dowdy, he's no longer with the organization, but I'm pretty close to those guys, and they're in the org, so I was able to talk to them. And just obviously with Cleveland, everyone just hears about the pitching factory, so that's the first thing that came to mind. Is this is pretty cool because I can go to this really great organization for pitching.
All right, so you come over to the Cleveland organization, and you start out at Low A Lynchburg last season, your first full season. What was that whole experience like, and how was it after missing a full year?
Yeah, so it was the first half was tough just because to get thrown into that was really pro ball. To get thrown into that after not pitching for over, like you said, a year to hitters, and on top of that, for the most part, I threw 5 innings in that Gulf Coast League. But for the most part, the last guys I'd really faced for the most part is the high school guys. So at first it was just an adjustment. I wasn't really getting hit that much, but it was more so the mistakes, and I'd walk a guy or whatever, a guy would dribble one through, and then that guy might get on second, and then there's a runner in scoring position. So that's the biggest thing. It kind of speeds up on you. And this is just low. That was just low A. So, but yeah, that first half of the season was just inconsistent. And then the second half, I kind of settled in and just figured out what worked for me. Again, the stats show not the best year, but no one really hit me that hard. I gave up a lot of ground balls, and unfortunately, the ground balls went through. But I'm not going to really press myself on that. It's just if I can limit the ground balls and maybe get the strikeouts up and stuff like that, I'll have a better probably season. But that was part of learning. It's my first year.
Right. So what are your personal goals for 2022?
Yeah. So I'll go pitching wise first, but like I said, like with driveline is important. I want to go there and really profile my fastball well to get it to where a big thing in baseball now is vertical movement on your fastball. So just to increase the vertical movement, limit the sink, which the sink gets you more ground balls, and the ground balls didn't really work out a ton for me. So if I can still have a high ground ball percentage, but also get the swings and misses up, I think I'll be in a really, really good spot. So that's why I'm a driver, and that was one of the goals, is to do that. Another main goal of mine, just to refine the other pitches I have. They were pretty successful, but again, if I can refine them and get them even better, that'd be big. Another thing, specific wise, is just to lower the walks, and because I have good command, I that last year was not the best, but like I know I can have good command. And then the whip, if I can get that around 1 or lower than 1 is key.
All right. So before we get into the last segment, the question segment, just want to talk about a teammate of yours from last season, Andres Melendez, who tragically passed away at 20 years old last month. I know I talked with Zach Hart last week about him, and he had nothing but great things to say about him. And obviously, being a catcher, I'm sure he caught quite a few of your games. What kind of relationship did you have with him, and how was he as a teammate and as a person?
Yeah, so Andres and I actually met before I was even in the Cleveland organization. He trained in Houston with the group I was with, DST. And we didn't really talk much or at all. I'd say what's up to him and stuff like that. But we didn't really interact much. And then the day I got traded, I came in to the gym, and I think it was actually the day after. But I came into the gym, and Andres was like the first one I saw. He was smiling, and he came, gave me a hug, and he had shorts that were 7 sizes too big on me. And in a shirt, a Cleveland shirt that he gave to me. And basically he's like, "Yeah, you need to wear some gear." And that was pretty cool because he was just the first one to really show that much care, and I barely knew him. But that was just again, like, that's the type of person he was, and he caught me the whole season for the most part in Lynchburg. And a pitcher and a catcher, you have that bond. So
Yeah.
I got pretty close with him. He'd come over to my apartment. We didn't live in the same apartment in Lynchburg, but he'd come over. We'd play FIFA against each other all the time. And yeah, just a lot of great memories. And just, he was such a good dude. And it's just really obviously terrible that what happened. And we're all going to miss him a lot, but yeah, it's pretty awful.
Yeah, that seems to be the same sentiment from everybody I hear about him, is just what a great person he was and a great teammate. So yeah, he's definitely going to be missed for sure.
For sure.
All right. So the last segment, there's 10 questions called Getting to Know Your Guardian. So a couple fun ones in here. So here we go.
Right.
So if you had to play another sport professionally besides baseball, what would it be?
Basketball.
Basketball. Did you play in high school?
I did, yeah, 1 year.
Yeah, 1 year.
Yeah.
What position?
Shooting guard.
Shooting guard. There you go. That's the same position I played. So.
Yeah, stand by a 3-point line and.
All right. If you couldn't play professional sports, what occupation would you desire?
That's a tough one. I really haven't thought about that. I'll say this to make my mom happy. Probably private equity. That's what she's in. So I'd follow in her footsteps.
There you go. What is your favorite game day meal?
Actually, I don't like to eat a ton on game days or heavy foods.
Okay.
So I don't really have a favorite meal. I'd probably say a smoothie is probably my biggest thing. I like to have like a smoothie, something that'll get me filled up. But yeah, I don't really have a favorite. There's not a go-to that I have on game days.
Okay. How about your
Yeah.
favorite takeout?
Takeout. Are we talking like Chinese food or something
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah, I can consider that.
So yeah, I guess chicken lo mein. That's my favorite
Okay.
thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. What is your favorite music genre and favorite either group or solo artist?
I like rap music, and then my favorite rapper is Kid Cudi.
Okay.
Yeah, Cleveland guy actually.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. Favorite movie of all time?
You Don't Mess with the Zoan. With that Adam
Okay.
Sandler.
What is your favorite pro athlete growing up in any sport? Doesn't have to be baseball.
Favorite of all time was actually Kobe Bryant. Late great Kobe Bryant. Yeah, I wore when I was younger, I wore everything 24. I got all those Kobe's, and then I actually met him at his last game. My uncle that was just like the coolest thing ever. He got courtside seats to Kobe's last game in Houston.
Wow.
And yeah, I've never been starstruck in my life. I met a lot of really famous people. And I've never been starstruck except for when I met Kobe Bryant. So the bus came. We were waiting in this underground area, and their bus arrived, and I had his jersey on, and Kobe walked out. And my dad's like nudging me. He's like, "Hey, like say something to him, like get him to sign your jersey." I could not form a word, so I just kind of waved, and Kobe like waved back and was like, "Hey, how you doing?" But I've never done that before. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So what is your biggest fear or phobia?
Sharks. I don't like
Sharks?
sharks. Yeah.
I agree with that. I'm not a fan either. All right, so here's my favorite one. Who's your biggest celebrity crush?
Celebrity crush? This is a tough one. Let me think. I gotta think about this one.
You go ahead. You got time.
Probably Selena Gomez.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So last thing, what do you want to tell the fans about what to expect from Josh Wolf in 2022?
Yeah, that's a good question. My first year probably was very underwhelming to a lot of fans if they saw it. But I really don't think that really speaks for how I'm gonna be in the future and just how I am as a player. It was a tough year, obviously, but I learned so much that year that I know I'll be able to come back so much stronger and more resilient. And on top of that, it kind of gave me a little kick in the butt to refine my game and get better. And because it showed me that it's not going to be a walk in the park. I really got to be on top of my stuff to be able to succeed. So that's what they should expect is for me to be on top of my stuff. And I was in this trade for a reason, and I want them to know that there was a good reason. And I got, by the end of this, my whole career, there's other things, but I'd like to be known as the best player I was in that trade.
Right. And in the lower levels too, it's not always about the numbers.
Yeah.
So that's good to hear. Hopefully, I don't know where you're going to start out at, but I know next step up is high A, Lake County. So if you end up pitching out there, I'll definitely come out and see some of your games because I'm only about an hour from there. So hopefully we see you out with the Captains this year.
For sure.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on and taking the time to come on with me, and wish you the best of luck and stay in touch. And hopefully we'll catch up with you sometime in 2022.
Definitely. Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right. I appreciate it, Josh. You have a good night.
You too. Bye.